There was an attack yesterday on Bibles and religious preachers in Hyde Park. It's quite shocking, really. If this had been any other religion, I suppose it would have made the news. This one didn't particularly. And there are so many forms of public celebration in Christianity, as there are in many other religions. And I'm particularly mindful of last Thursday in Oxford, where there was a huge procession walking through the streets of Oxford singing Faith of Our Fathers for the celebration of the feast of Corpus Christi. And that's it's a it's a feast which it's a medieval feast established in 1264 by Pope Urban IV to honour the Eucharist, and the Eucharist is carried under a canopy through the streets, and the faithful collect. In the past, there would be parades with biblical floats and banners and religious plays, tableau, and so on. And then with the Reformation, this was suppressed, and the development of the Church of England and the rule of Henry VIII and his successors to eliminate what they considered superstitious or idolatrous practices. But I would see it as the beginnings of modern theatre and a way of dramatizing belief. In the 19th and 20th centuries, so starting with the revival of the Catholic hierarchy in 1850 and the subsequent growth of the Catholic community, this led to a reintroduction of traditional Catholic practices, like, for example, the Corpus Christi processions, which remind me very much of the procession in Greece and Russia of the Epitaphios, the funeral bier of Christ around Easter time. Today, there are other Corpus Christi processions that take place. There's a number of interesting religious processions, particularly Catholic processions. If you want good Catholic processions, you go to Spain. But there's so many ways in which these processions make use of household implements, like for example the brush, the broom. There's a procession in March in Antigua to commemorate the feast of San Bartolome de Berreca, and people process with sweeping the streets effectively, not unlike the idea of Saint Bernadette of Lourdes, who she had these visions of the Virgin Mary in 1858, and started this tradition of people coming to be cured to this little town in the south of France. And she was asked why she's no longer seeing visions of the Virgin Mary. She says, well, she's like a broom. What do you do with a broom when you've used it? You put it back behind the door. And of course, when we think of brooms today with Hollywood, we think of witches and maybe even Baba Yaga. And sort of, but that's not so much a modern Western idea of these sort of mobile houses, unless, of course, you're looking at the Miyazaki film. What is it? Howl's Moving Castle. Have you seen the adaptation of Spirited Away at the Colosseum in London? Spectacular design, spectacular show at a time when so much in the West End is being cut back, so much is smaller. Suddenly you've got something which is bigger than anything that I've seen before. But the scope of dramatizing our imagination, of being creative, it's got no creativity, as John Cleese, I think, pointed out. Creativity has nothing to do with IQ. It's about the ability to play, and processions and manifestations of belief, physical manifestations of belief, whether that's standing in the corner of Hyde Park and talking from the Bible, whether that's parading through the streets of Oxford, or whether it's taking your broom out. It's a creative manifestation of belief, and it's a vibrant, meaningful expression of an inner life. It's a vibrant, meaningful form of creativity. You don't need to share the. There's a very interesting Jewish practice called the mazinka. So when a family marry off their last child, you get the brooms out and you sweep up the floor during the wedding ceremony and of the wedding feast. Again, it's all about symbolic creativity and fun. People even getting out the vacuum cleaner, and celebrating change, celebrating moments that change our lives, and it's important. And so in the past we were doing this about religion. Now maybe we should be doing it about politics. Maybe we should be doing it about moments in our national life. And we should find ways to dramatize the events. And it's not just about graduating from school, which I think is rather we picked that one up from America with little bits of paper and gowns and things. I think we could be more creative, and I love the idea of processions because they're moving through space. It's like architecture. It's art in motion. Whereas we seem to so often trap ourselves in a room where we are listening to somebody, and that sort of performance thing. So much better to be moving through space and to be deifying space, to be taking our creativity into the marketplace, because it's in the marketplace that it belongs. The old passion plays, the mystery plays, the drama of everyday life.